Well, today we're gonna talk about hours of service. Why is it important for a freight dispatcher to understand the basic rules? First, hours of service, not hours of sleeping like brokers love to tell us. Well, what are the rules? Well, first, what is the ELD device? Well, this is a device which is connected to engine of your truck. And what is the reason? Why is FMCSA made all these rules about ELD devices? Well, they want to make sure that drivers follow the regulations, hours of service. So that device has to meet like 43 or 45 parameters to be approved by FMCSA, and it's able to get bunch of different data: location of your truck, odometer, and all other things, and also status of your driver. If he's in a sleeper status, if he is on duty, off duty, if he is fueling, if he's taking break, and all the things that require for driver to follow hours of service. Most of the dispatchers, when they start, they think that, well, it's not that important for me. Driver needs to follow these rules, and I am just here to book the loads. Well, let's think about it. Well, first, if you are a dispatcher, you need to learn at least basics. What does it mean, cycle? Cycle in trucking for hours of service means you're kind of working week. If everybody has Monday to Friday working week, in trucking we have 7 or we can have 8 days. Within those days, the driver legally can drive 70 or 60 hours. It depends what company is going to decide. Usually, if we are going all over the USA, we choose 8 days and we choose 70 hours. If you're a local guy, they can choose probably 60 hours instead of 70. It's all up to the company. Well, for you as a dispatcher, this is going to be crucial, because if you are booking a long distance load and driver only has 10-15 hours left on his working week, on his cycle, he's not going to be able to complete the transit. That's why when the broker is asking you, are you sure that your driver has fresh hours? That's what they're asking you. Are you sure that driver, let's say Mike on the truck 77, has at least 36, 42 hours to make the transit, let's say from Chicago to California? Because if he does not have enough hours, what's gonna happen? After he finishes 70 hours, there is a mandatory rule. You have to do a restart. And a restart is 34 hours. That means if he did not have enough hours on his cycle somewhere in New Mexico, he needs to stop and wait for 34 hours. What's gonna happen? Well, first, you're gonna be late for your delivery. Second, broker is gonna get pissed. He's gonna tell, hey Alex, what kind of dispatcher are you? You did not know that your driver does not have enough hours on cycle? And you can make up stories, but if you were not sure, that means that you are not pro dispatcher. You are simply pretending to be dispatcher, or you one of those dispatchers who hoping that their driver will still fake logbook every load. So let's go back. Now we know that we have cycle 70 hours. Every day we have shift. Our shift is 16 hours. From those 16 hours, the driver can only drive 11 hours. He needs to do PTI, pre-trip inspection. Well, the real PTI, probably should take you 30 to 40 minutes. But the drivers only put 15 minutes because they try to save every minute on that logbook. Also, we have a rule. If the driver have been driving non-stop for 8 hours, he needs to stop for mandatory break, 30 minutes. So look at this, 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Let's say hour is gone. We go through the different traffic, right? We go load and unload. And if the driver is not going off duty, well, honestly, how many miles a day can we drive? Well, in a perfect scenario, if you are not loading and unloading today and you are doing long distance and you are a strong driver, you can push 600, 650 miles legally. We're talking about legally. If you guys gonna start commenting, I am doing 800 miles, I'm doing 900 miles, don't forget to add, I am faking logbook. Or maybe you are going through the states where speed limit is higher, but still, in reality, it's 600, 630 miles. If we are going through the big cities, let's say mega city as Chicago, if we are going through New York, if we are going through Atlanta, Miami, Seattle, Los Angeles with the traffic, well, the ability to complete those miles is going down. So that's why, as a dispatcher, when you calculate the transit, you need to understand those rules. What else do we need to know? Well, there's something that we call sleeper berth provisions. What does it mean? That means after you finish your shift, driver has to sleep mandatory for 10 hours. Not 7, not 5, not 8, exactly 10 hours. He cannot move his truck. So there is 2 rules. Instead of having 10 consecutive hours, your driver is able to split them 2 ways. One is 8 and 2, 7 and 3. So is that really gonna help you? Let's think about it. Let's say your driver, Mike, comes to unload an Americold. He knows it's gonna take at least 2-3 hours to unload because they take their time, they are strict, they are slow receiver, or they're slow loading site. In this case, he goes off duty, he goes to sleeper, and while they are loading him, well, the time passes by. So he satisfies those 2 or 3 hours. After he got loaded, he switches to on duty, he drives. In the end of the day, now, instead of sleeping for straight 10 hours, he can sleep 8 or 7 hours. Is that gonna help you with the transit? Yes, yes, and yes. Also, you need to know about something which we call adverse driving. What is that? Well, it's something that gives ability to your driver to extend the shift and his driving hours by 2 extra hours. But what are the rules? It only can be used in certain conditions. Well, maybe it's tornado. Maybe it's unusual accident. Maybe it's a snowstorm. Maybe it's an emergency road closure. Only then you can use that adverse driving. You cannot use adverse driving every time you feel like you need extra 2 hours. My dear dispatchers, remember, hours of service rules, it's like your ABCs. Learn, practice, and calculate correct transit. Don't forget to register for upcoming class, which starting April 26. You do need to get ready for my class. Bunch of students already register, they already learning, and they preparing. Also, IFTA is coming up, and safety and compliance. It's always a pleasure to share my knowledge with you. So please like, share, comment, and ask questions. Love you guys, and see you soon.